Hey guys, it's Mr. Becklin. Hope you guys are all doing well. Well, if you're viewing this video, obviously you found where the post is for the Google Classroom. That's kind of what it's going to look like. It'll be on a Google Doc every Monday morning. And I'll try to lay out the week for you for math, and then you can kind of pick and choose how you want to do it. There will be another folder that has miscellaneous things in it, so if you want to check those out, you're more than welcome to do that. We won't be doing every single activity from the workbooks like we would normally do. We would do most of them in class. We'll kind of be picking and choosing some of the major ones throughout the next 8 weeks or so. And every Monday morning, like I said, you'll see the post of the Google Doc of kind of the week layout for us in math, and you can kind of work through those things at your own pace. I'll be including some videos in there for you to check out. Some will be by me, some will be by someone else, maybe Khan Academy or other videos, and also some practices in there. If there's any questions, probably the best place to put it would be to comment underneath this Google Doc that you just clicked on to get to this video. And just remember, whatever you post, everybody can see. So if there's something you don't want other people to see, then you could always email me, obviously. And then if you notice on Thursday, we have a scheduled Zoom meeting at 10 a.m. It's an optional meeting. You are welcome to come in. It'd be great to see you. And that'll just be an opportunity for me to answer any questions you guys might have, check in with you guys, just see how things are going that week. All right, so I had a few questions come up the last week or so, 2 weeks, with solving equations. So I wanted to share a few of those with you in this video. So if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, that would be probably best. You can write this down. Obviously, you can pause the video anytime if you need to catch up. All right, so you just do what works best for you. And if I'm going to go through these problems. If you want to pause it and try to do it on your own first and then check in with me, that's totally fine. All right, so one question I had come up, this was I think out of the lesson 11 practice problems, was solving this equation. So find the solution of this equation. 5x minus 7 equals 3. All right, so let me zoom this in just a little bit for you guys. All right, so when we're solving for x here or finding the solution, remember we're trying to isolate the variable, isolate the x. All right, and to do that, we're going to go ahead and eliminate our constant first. That constant is always this number that's by itself. If we're going to eliminate a -7 term, because this is subtracting 7, remember we're always thinking opposite. So we're going to add 7, but remember whatever we do to one side of the balance or one side of the hanger, remember the hanger diagrams, we're always going to do the same thing to the other side. All right, so these cancel, which is what we want, and that just leaves us with 5x's equals 10. And our last step, we want to know what 1x equals, not what 5x equals. So we're going to split up each side of our equation into 5 equal parts. And that's going to give us a solution of x equals 2. And remember, the nice thing about algebraic equations, when we find the solution, we can always check our answer to see if it works. We can always check to see that that solution does work. We can plug that in, and we know that 5 multiplied by 2, subtract 7, is going to give us 3. So check. All right, another one that came up was an equation that involved parentheses. All right, so remember, when we see equations that involve parentheses, we think of the 2 D's. We can either divide or we can distribute. And first thing we look at here is, does this number evenly fit inside of this number? It does not, so we probably wouldn't want to divide first. I mean, we could, but it would result in a decimal or a fraction, which can sometimes be a little complicated. So why don't we go ahead and distribute this one? So we're going to distribute that 3 to the 5 and also to the x. Distribute meaning multiply. 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. 3 multiplied by x will be 3x. And that all equals 7. All right, so then we kind of now have a similar equation to our first one, where we want to eliminate our constant. Our constant in this case is our number that's by itself. We're going to subtract 15. And we're subtracting this time because this is a positive 15, not a negative 15. These will go away, which is what we want. So that's going to leave us with 3x equals, all right, so this would be 7 subtract 15, which would be -8. And our last step, like we did in our last one, we want to know what 1x equals. We're trying to isolate the x, so we're going to divide that up into 3 groups. We have to make sure we do the same thing to the other side of the equation. So that's going to leave us with x equals -8 thirds. Or you could write it as 2 2/3 negative. Or if you wanted to write it as a decimal, that would be -2.6 repeating. So any of those solutions would work. And again, I know it's a little more complicated with a fraction or a decimal, but same thing applies. You can always plug this into the original equation and see if that does in fact work. And it does. All right, and then our final one here was 6. This one, so if you wanted to pause that and maybe try it on your own, you could. Remember parentheses, we think of the 2 D's, we can either divide or distribute. This one, 6, does it fit evenly inside of 20? No, so it looks like we're going to be doing another distributive property. So this would be 6x plus 24 equals 20. Get rid of our constant. Leaves us with 6x equals -4. 20 subtract 24. We're running out of room here. Move that up just a little bit. We're going to split our 6x up into 6 groups, right? Because we just want to know what 1x equals, but whatever we do to one side of the equation, we do to the other. So this would be x equals negative. Now this would be -4/6. Remember, 4/6 is the same thing as 2/3 if we reduce that fraction. Or if you wanted to write it as a decimal, that would be the same thing as 0.6 repeating, -0.6 repeating. Those would be equivalent. All right, so those were a few questions that came up with the solving equations. So thanks guys for listening, and there'll be a few other practices. This week is mainly going to be just kind of learning the platform. When I say platform, I mean Google Classroom, Zoom, kind of what that's going to look like. So there'll be some questions for you, I think, in a Google form on Wednesday and also on Friday. Not as much math related, just more kind of getting used to this new type of online learning that we're all kind of getting in together here. So it'll be an adventure, it'll be fun. And thanks guys for listening. Have a great day.